What's going on, y'all? I wanted to talk about consistency. Consistency can go into many different layers. We could talk about it on an astrological level, or we could talk about consistency on just like an everyday, how we go through life kind of ordeal and everything. Why are the dogs already fucking barking already? That's besides the point. So, consistency is basically, in a nutshell, when we're talking about on an astrological level, consistency deals with the planet, the Earth planet, Gaia, Saturn, Mars, and the sixth house. And the third house to a certain degree. More so the sixth house. And then, first let's talk about this on just like a day-to-day routine, how we go through life kind of ordeal. Consistency, it really, it's basically the same concept as kind of just like going towards a goal, you know what I mean? Pardon me. Determination stems from consistency also. Because to be consistent, you have to be conscious. And it's not even necessarily a situation of being conscious. Because there's shit, we subconsciously, consistency can be a habit. Like me just, scratching my neck. Even if my neck isn't even itching, that's a consistent habitual thing that I do, and that was subconscious. That's not something like that you consciously think like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and consciously scratch my neck and everything, and you know what I'm saying. So consistency can play on a large multiple layers of each other. That's why I was saying Mars is connected to consistency because it's ruler of the first and the eighth house. Now, I know I said the sixth house is more so of consistency because the sixth house deals with routines and the things that we do on a day-to-day basis, like looking through a calendar and having shit marked on a calendar of a routine, or writing shit in a planner, basically. That kind of ordeal, basically. But with what I'm saying is, this relates to what I was just saying about consistency being conscious and subconscious. The masculine side of Mars is Aries, the first house, and we know the first house is, your personal issues and, your personality in general. And your personality is consistent to a certain degree, even though your personality evolves and shifts as time goes on, because we all go through different experiences that shape our being and our spirit as it is. Your personality always stays the same because it's your spirit. So, with that being said, since your personality is your spirit, and since that always stays the same because that's the space that you're in, while your sun and your moon is, doing all the work, pretty much doing all the work, and you're just, and you're on your throne, on your space, which is your ascendant, your first house, which is ruled by Mars. This is something that, is consistent over a period of time. And another thing that's consistent are your deep desires, your habits. That this could be habitual too at the same time, like sexual desires or masturbating and everything like that, aka this whole no fap challenge and everything like that. And the thing about no fap, or just not masturbating in general, is this isn't something that you just you see somebody do it. And shout out to the people in the soul group that are on this path and everything like that, and anybody else who isn't even in the soul group, just regular people who just have the mindset of one to not masturbate and conserve their energy and everything. This is different for everybody, because some people have a large amount of energy in them by default. You see what I'm saying? And some people, one nut being busted will cause like a whole fucking night of staying in the house and going night. One of those kind of situations. So everybody's different, you know what I'm saying? No natal chart is the same, no snowflakes the same, no raindrops the same, no cell molecule is the same, everything, no fucking brick, no little cement, no little portion of cement connecting the brick is the same and everything like that. Nothing is a perfect shape or form. But anyway, that's consistent. When you're talking about the yin aspect of consistency, the eighth house, you would definitely look to the eighth house. So really, you can say the first, the eighth, the sixth, even the 10th house, since we're talking about Saturn, and Saturn deals with consistency too, because Saturn is basically, you know, like Uriel says, that's how you see reality. That's how you see the world around you, you know, the physical, tangible world around you. And, you know, how you see, and depending on where you have Saturn, and depending on what house you have Saturn in, that's basically the way you see the world, basically. And Saturn, like, basically how you see everything. So, in a lot of different ways, depending on your sign, like I have Saturn in Pisces. So the way that I see reality and the way that I try to lay a foundation for myself is based upon connecting with people. It's based upon, you know, higher learning, but not just higher learning in the sense of just going to school and reading a book. Higher learning in the sense of meditating and observing this knowledge. Meditating and absorbing this knowledge, basically. You know what I'm saying? Just like walking around and daydreaming, like walking around tonight and just staring at the stars, staring at Aldebaran, staring at the Taurus constellation, staring at the 7 Palladian sister star, whatever the fuck it's called. You know what I'm saying? Just that kind of higher learning, because you can gain all sorts of knowledge just from the shapes of things. That's when your imagination starts coming into play with that Piscean 12th house energy playing out, basically, when it comes to Saturn. So that's consistent too, daydreaming. So, okay, that's perfect. That's a perfect segue. When we're talking about the Saturnian aspect of consistency, the 10th house aspect of consistency, and Mars is exalted in the 10th house. So this is another reason why Mars plays into the key aspect of being a consistent planet, or a planet that deals with consistency, because it has a lot to do with drive. Remember, I said passions, and you know what you're setting out for a goal has a lot to do with consistency as well. But basically, with that being said, Saturn being in Pisces, or whatever sign you have Saturn in, is that's the element, that's the modality, that's the whole environment that you're going to be consistent in, you know, gaining structure in, as far as, you know, laying a serious foundation. So I'm very consistent when it deals with connecting with people. I'm very consistent when it deals with keeping other people's emotions in mind. You know what I'm saying? Not being so, and I have Moon in Cancer, so sometimes I have a battle with this, not being so much being in my own mood and only wanting to, you know, make my own self feel comfortable and everything like that. And I have to learn through my reality that how I really see reality and how I have to really be consistent is by ways of dealing with people. And my ascendant is Pisces, so like my Saturn and my ascendant are one and the same, basically. So I already kind of give off this personality and consistency, which is crazy because I was just talking about how the first house is that's Mars right there. Also, that's Mars ruling the first house right there. That energy right there combined with Saturn. Now, everybody has these different energies. I just happen to have this energy, and my Saturn is in the first house. So it's like consistent. I'm consistent with connecting with other people's emotions. And even though Saturn falls in the first house, it's still, with me being consistent enough that Saturn is going to rise from the ashes and eventually be, you know, the one to shine in the Aries house, basically. And also, what else? Now, when it comes to the planet Gaia, this is not so much like Saturn as far as like gaining structure. What this is this is consistent of what you have good taste in. This is consistent of more so of like what you're materialistically interested in, basically. This is almost, I don't want to say your vices, because you could get lost into that programming of what a vice is, and that's based on, you know, different philosophies, and you know how certain philosophers have over time had these thoughts of, you know, how certain things are better or appear to be more righteous than the other and everything, which you can only do what God tells you to do at the end of the day, because you could listen to anybody for as long as you want, but until you're not going to really reach your full potential unless you really just listen to what your own damn self has to say, which is also God, your own damn self. So with that being said, it's so Gaia deals with consistency as far as what you, so this kind of deals with like combining this with Mars. So this is more so of what you're trying to actually get. Not so much just like the goal and the drive to actually go and get and the energy to fucking go and get it, but this is like the actual prize material of what you're consistently trying to go after or trying to build up in general. And you know what I'm saying? Whatever you have, and your sun sign, wherever your sun sign is, that's the your earth sign is gonna. Pardon me. Your earth sign is gonna be the opposite degree. But the way it works, like Uriel said, say your sun is, and it equalizes at the 15 degree mark. So if your sun is 15 degrees Leo, then your earth sign is gonna be 15 degrees Aquarius. But if your earth sign is motherfucking 20 degrees Aries, then it's gonna if your sun sign is 20 degrees Aries, your earth sign is gonna be 10 degrees Libra. So it's like a reverse kind of thing. It's like they meet up at the 15 point. Like, let's say where my finger is, this finger right now, this is 0 degrees, and this is 30 degrees of the next sign. It works out like that, and then when it goes into the other sign, it switches over. It's an interesting system. I can't really explain into words. That's where that Mercury in the 12th house kind of puts me in a detriment. But also with me having Mercury in Aquarius, I guess it kind of makes it be able to make more sense, because Mercury likes being in air signs, but it's Aquarius, so it's not fully thorough as Gemini or Libra. But hey, I gotta do what I gotta do with the energies I got. My first house lord is in the 9th house, and my 10th house lord is in the 9th house. So I can't help but to present myself in this kind of way. Anyway, with Gaia and consistency, when it comes to the earth sign and consistency, just wherever the element and the sign this is in and the house this is in, this is going to be more so based on the energy of what kind of material you're focused in. Like if you're like me, and if you have the earth in Leo, with my sun being in Aquarius, if you have earth in Leo, and my earth's in the 6th house, which is actually exalted, with earth in Leo, the material that you try to look towards is like, it's like, it could be music based, you know what I'm saying? But you know, we're talking about fixated fire, so, and fire is dealing with feelings, but it's dealing with visions too. So this is being stuck on a vision, basically. So this energy right here, sorry, I was getting this fly off. With this energy right here, this fixated energy, that's a consistent energy too. So the earth is actually ruled by Taurus. Venus and the earth rule Taurus. And then also, since Taurus is a fixed sign, that means the earth kind of does well, the best, not always the best, because, you know, each fixed sign is a different element. But as far as the aspect of consistency, this is going to be, you know, that aspect. So with earth being in Leo for me, I could be consistent upon wanting to be center stage. I could be consistent on wanting to get musical equipment to be seen and everything like that. This could fall into the realm of wanting to play a lot of instruments. And I naturally have this energy, but depending on different alignments and what your spirit's like, you could want these for different reasons. Me, I just love music, and you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I love the feeling of and the sound of certain things. Like, I want to get into the Hammond B3 organ and shit like that, and I know that shit is fucking expensive as hell, and I'm not really there yet, because I just started playing bass, if you've been watching my videos, and that's still a slow learning process, even though from playing guitar, and you know, with guitar and they're not the same. You don't play them the same way with bass and guitar. They're completely different roles, but it's basically like, it's easier to get used to because it is the same concept of, okay, certain notes are still the same as far as like positioning and shapes and everything like that. So it makes it a little easier, but the thing that makes it difficult and the learning curve is the technique and everything. But this video is not about multi-instrumentalists. But yeah, wherever your earth sign is, like, and if your earth sign is in Libra and everything like that, you could be materialistically consistent when it comes to your relationship with people. You could even see your relationships as material. It plays out in a lot of different ways, man. But Yeah, so Gaia, Saturn, Mars, the first, the eighth, and the 10th house are basically the energies of what consistency is. And like I said, it could play out in a lot of different ways. Like for an example, my Earth, like I said, it's in the 6th house, so it's exalted. And it's in Leo, so it's fixated on a vision of routine and what you do on a day-to-day basis. And I just lost one of my other jobs. I'm not going to go into detail of that. Nothing bad happened or nothing like that. As far as what I want to tell, because all these spirits are watching, and you got to be careful when you're explaining things in real time. Even if you're just saying shit off the top of your head, you got to catch yourself at the same time. It's a tricky game, man. But anyway, I've found a new job opportunity within the span of 4 days. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm talking about, consistency, and not just if you're really trying to get something done, you can't just lay back on the fucking porch and just be like, okay, cool. You can't just think. You got to take action. This is where you come up with sayings like you got to walk your talk and everything like that, and you can't just keep talking. You got to do action. Anyway, y'all have a great rest of the night. Peace.